Hey, this is Adasa, the voice of Dolores from Disney's Encanto, and you're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. And before I go, because I am the voice of Dolores, I gotta say, hey, grew to live in fear of Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. Tss, tss, tss. Stay tuned for more.
Jumbo, everyone!
Harambe!
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it!
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this show. We present a Disney fan's response to Universal Epic Universe and what we think Disney should respond, or how they should respond, or have they responded. We talk about all the stuff.
Yes.
And look, this is your typical polished, practiced Pixie Dust and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in the parks every day keeping track of Tiana's Bayou Adventure testing.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and tell you what Disney can do to compete with Epic Universe.
And you listeners have the easy part. All you got to do is listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Rachel.
And look, the easiest way to support us is to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as to turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. So look, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go make some magic. Here we are on the Hub, the main topic segment of our show. And if you've been subscribed to us and everything else, you know for the past 6 weeks, we have been on vacation visiting the competition. And if you remember, competition's good for business. And so as Disney fans, we wanted to check out what was going on over there with Universal Epic Universe. So hopefully you went on that journey with us and you learned a little bit more about what the competition is doing. But now we're back in Disney grounds. We're back at our Disney home. Back what we've been known to do for this podcast. So now, as Disney fans, it's time for us to react. And we definitely want you out there listening to react as well. Make sure you shoot us an email, show@magicourway.com, or get in touch with us through all the social medias or whatever. Send us a message, slide into our DMs, whatever. But we definitely want to hear your opinions about this, and they're always welcome on the show. So we did 6 weeks, guys. Universal Epic Universe.
Yeah. Very exhaustive.
Yeah, very
a lot of
exhaustive.
research. Kudos to you guys.
Thank you. We are exhausted.
Yes, and excited. You know,
Yes.
if you remember for the show, that was very pumped up with a lot of discussions they have. And there's not a time when we're recording those shows during those weeks where I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Oh my gosh, they're doing this, they're doing that. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it, which is something that I've mentioned this on those shows, something I haven't felt in a very, very long time.
True.
With a Disney product of sorts. So, yeah, what are y'all feelings about this? After 6 weeks of Universal Epic Universe, we're back home at Disney. What do you guys think?
My first thought is, how concerned should Disney be?
Yeah?
That's my question here. What would y'all think the level of concern Disney has about Epic Universe is right now? Because I got to be honest, like going into Epic Universe, I didn't think it was that much of a threat.
It didn't hit you like that.
It didn't hit me. Yeah,
yeah.
like some of the IP that they were using, I'm like, it just doesn't sound all that enticing. And I think I've said it on the show before that Disney could crush them like that if they wanted to. All they really had to do is invest in their properties, which are way more popular. But having dived into it, even lands that I wasn't looking forward to before, I am now. So I'm kind of curious as to what y'all think Disney is thinking right now in terms of their concern level.
I got to think their eyes are open, and they got to recognize that it's happening. They're Universal's making the next big theme park in Central Florida, along with whatever else is going on in Dallas, which latest news has already popped out. They're talking about their kids' resort.
That's going to be big.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they weren't. Now, actually, would I be surprised about that? Is there? I mean, is there so much
That's my
internal strife happening at Disney that they can't even picture thinking about anything outside of their own company? I don't know.
I'm wondering how seriously they're taking this.
Yeah, I don't think they're taking it too seriously at all at this point, because they probably have to see what the numbers would be once everything opens up and what the gate would say. I mean, money would dictate to them whether or not they should be worried. So I don't think they're worried about that at the moment.
I think they're going to do something, but I think what they were going to do is what they were going to do before.
Nothing different.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to shift because that Disney name, it still carries that cachet.
Are they resting on their laurels then?
I don't know about resting on their laurels, but more resting on the fact that when people hear this is a Disney product, they still equate that with quality, even though that hasn't been the case for a little while.
Yeah, for me, Disney is starting to equate to like dollar signs. And so if I got to spend dollars and stuff, and then this other product, which is, I don't know, the jury's out on whether the quality is going to be similar, but they're doing some innovative things. If
It sounds like it will be.
yeah. And they've even stated that we're wanting you to stay for a week. They've made that point. That's their desire. That's their goal. And we brought this up in past shows. You know, I'm going to have to be faced with that decision. I'm not going to spend some time. Do I want to go to Universal? And if I go to Universal, am I going to have to spend some time at Disney too? Do I want to do that? Or is it a separate trip altogether?
We had this discussion because we were planning a podcast trip in 2025. Not seriously planning it, but discussing the idea of doing something like that. And Kevin was suggesting about going to Disney World,
Disneyland, yeah.
And I said, why would we do that when we can go to Epic Universe and drive?
Yeah.
So I'm worried. I mean, just when it comes to the Disney theme parks, Bob Iger seems to specialize in giving you the least amount of product for the most amount of money.
And he has admitted that he's not a theme park person. I've heard this several times, in various ways and stuff.
Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah, so it's like his attention wouldn't be there, unfortunately.
Let me ask y'all this. What do y'all think the problems Disney is facing right now when it comes to the parks are?
They're traditional.
Before we move on to what we think that they might do, what do y'all think the problems are?
They're too traditional at this point.
Too traditional.
Yeah, stale.
Not innovative.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that it's lack of innovation to go with that.
I would go with that.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, we covered like Universal and like all the different, I mean, yes, some of these ride systems that you can buy off the shelf, but there's a couple of ride systems that Universal has patented themselves, they've created, which Disney used to do. Like, I remember when Dinosaur or Indiana Jones and the one in California, Don't Look in the Eye of Mara, that one.
Right.
But I remember that.
Eye.
Yeah. And when that ride system came out, I was like, oh, this is great. Man, there's so many things they could do with that. And even when they released the Pirates ride system in Shanghai, I was like, oh, well, hopefully they bring it over here. Because that's really awesome.
100%.
Haven't heard a damn thing about it.
No.
Nothing about it. I mean,
everything innovative gets opened overseas. And by the time we get it, it's like 10 years later, you've seen the video on YouTube, you're not really all that jazzed about it anymore. Yeah. It's like Ratatouille. Nice little thing, but I mean...
It was open in Paris
it was too late.
Time.
Yeah, it was too late by the time we got it, and it wasn't the draw that it could have been.
I think the number one problem that I hear people talk about with Disney is it's too much work.
Oh,
it's just not... It's too much work. You have to plan the dining, and then you got to plan your fast passes, and you got to pay for all these upcharges, and like genuinely trying to explain to people the differences between Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes and virtual queues and early entry and just all these things. You know, like I want to help educate people so that they can maximize their time, but when I start to add like the 4th, 5th, and 6th system that they need to understand in order to have a good vacation, they're like, seriously? Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that, because nowadays in the workplace, there's so many technical systems that users have to learn anyway. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just thinking about my higher education job, and there's like so many different platforms that those employees or staff have to learn, and then to go on vacation they have to do the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. That's, I mean, to your point, Danny, that's not a vacation.
That's very stressful. That's highly stressful.
No, and because you need to do it all in the moment, I really can't help them. If someone says to me like, hey, I'm in the system and I'm having trouble, can you get me this? Or can you, like, I can try to pop in and see what it looks like, but I'm not there on the ground with them. So I don't know, like, if you're at Small Worlds, I don't want to book you something way over here. And so I'm trying to prep people, but there's only so much I can help set up ahead of time. Anyway, so it's just, I think it is too complicated. I think that it feels like nickel and diming. every day you got to add this thing on. And then if you want to ride the really popular ones, you got to add on another thing after that. And even though like, if you take the cost of all those things together, it's still significantly less than Universal Express Pass. It feels worse to people because they're paying it in the moment, every day, person by person, ride by ride, even for individual lightning lanes. And it's just like, even though it's cheaper, it's like, it just feels worse.
It does.
So
Yes.
when people add Universal Express Pass onto their vacations, they paid for it 45 days ago. And the explanation for how to use it is you just show up whenever you want.
Yeah.
Just walk in.
And depending on the levels that you get once a day on particular things, or if you have the
On
unlimited,
everything.
you could do
Yep.
whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's very easy.
It all comes down to when do you go? Whenever you want.
Yeah.
Whereas with Disney, man, I just saw this past week where they topped out at like, what was it, like $39
yeah.
for Genie Plus, and still you're subject to availability as to what's left, and that's not even getting into the really
Right.
good rides. That's the other thing the Express Pass does at Universal is it takes into account every ride except maybe one or
Hagrid's. That's
Yeah,
it.
there's
you
a
go.
couple of things that are not on it. Yeah.
right.
But like my friend and I, when we went to Universal, we set our alarm for 8:00 every morning. And when we're at Disney, it's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We're getting up to get
Yeah.
ready to get to the parks to make sure we have a good day. But with Universal, we didn't even have Express Pass. You
wow.
still didn't need to like freak out and get there early.
Well, but
But-
and that's the other thing about Express Pass is that if you book one of the deluxe resorts, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, you get it included.
It's free just for having. I mean, you book a room over at Disney and you book at the Grand Floridian. You just have the luxury of knowing that you're staying not too far away from the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
That's really all the benefit you get. Is that, hey, the room that I'm barely going to be in is
Right.
not
It's
that
close.
far away from where I'm going to be going.
Right.
And that's a nice feeling, and I love staying on the monorail loop. But to know that you can go ahead and get the Express Pass included and ride as many rides as you want, as many times as you want, whenever you want, that is such a draw. So yeah, I think that's a fair point, more than a fair point.
No, absolutely. And if you're a business minded person listening to this podcast, and you may be able to break down the numbers as to, hey, in actuality, you're doing this, you're paying for this, or whatever else. But the perception of how the ease of you doing your vacation makes a big difference, which is something that analytics do not capture effectively.
Yeah.
And just by us talking here, it's just like the ease of doing Universal Vacation. If I had to choose between a week once Epic Universe opens and I want something easy, right now it's leaning like Universal's got it made. So that's to Rachel's point. Yeah, that's a big problem with ease of vacation on your vacation.
Yes, that's what it's supposed.
It's supposed to be a vacation. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
I don't want to overthink this.
I'll tell you another thing that I think is a problem right now at Disney is that theming doesn't seem to matter all that much anymore. I mean, this week we got news that the reinvention of Dinoland is likely going to be going forward. They applied for permits and whatnot. And all I can think of is, so Indiana Jones has taken over Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Really?
What Indy has to do with animals, I swear I don't know.
He rode a camel.
He didn't like snakes.
Yeah, he don't like snakes.
Encanto is going to be taking over Dinorama, which is fine, I suppose. But again, there's a kid that can talk to animals. I don't know what Encanto has to do with animals. So more and more, Animal Kingdom is just becoming an overblown adventure land. It's basically, if an IP took place in a jungle or a forest, it's fine. Put it in Animal
Right
Kingdom.
there.
And not for nothing, but shouldn't there actually be animals in the Animal Kingdom? I mean, you might as well just rename it because it's starting to lose its identity.
That's like Jurassic Park. You expect to have dinosaurs on the
Yeah.
dinosaur tour?
And
you
look,
thinking?
I know Rachel likes the idea of Zootopia going in, and that's
Yeah.
fine and everything, but
At least they're animals.
And I do like that. You're right.
I know you do like, but I don't know how that sells a single ticket.
No.
It doesn't.
No,
It
I'm
doesn't.
not
It's-
coming for that.
Right, exactly. It's just shuffling things around when you really kind of need a draw for Animal Kingdom. If that's what you're doing, that doesn't sell a single ticket.
No.
No. I think Encanto will, though.
I do think Encanto will sell a ticket, but there again, I think it's a further degradation of what the Animal Kingdom was, and you're seeing it in Magic Kingdom with the swamp in Frontierland. I mean, you're just seeing that more and more. What they were known for, their bread and butter, doesn't really matter all that much. I still don't even know what the Hollywood Studios is. Is it an active studio? Is it just a park celebrating movies?
It's just another park.
It's just
yeah.
and that was what Universal used to be. Everywhere you go is an IP movie. And that's another thing, is that Disney can't seem to open an attraction without there being IP attached to it anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas that was a Disney difference. So you walked in, you stepped foot into another world, and you would ride things that you couldn't experience anywhere else except for in Disney. You didn't have it on your shelf and you could watch it at any point in time or put it on iTunes whenever you feel like it. You know, you haven't heard the soundtrack a gazillion times over to where you're kind of sick of it. I mean, by the time Frozen Ever After opened, it was like, what, 3 years? And that's a good turnaround for Disney.
Right, yeah.
That was like 3 years after Frozen had come out. And by that time, we were all sick of the songs. And what do we get? The same freaking songs. They didn't even give us an innovative, really new attraction there. They just gave us a dark ride where we heard the exact same songs we've been listening to for the last 3 years.
And, you know, that's the thing when we're talking about, and the argument's not about IP and stuff, right? The Universal uses IP, and you know, it's blatant.
Yeah.
But it's like they stick to one thing in one particular area, and they do all the things with it,
Right.
as opposed to where. Like Disney now,
In this new park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
in a new park, yes. And the old park, you know, it was different. And I mean, I've said before in previous shows, you can see the development of Universal Creative and how they approach their parks through the 3 different parks that they have.
Yeah.
But Disney now's reverting back to, like Danny said, the original Universal Park idea, where now there's just a bunch of hodgepodge IP, which IP is fine, but again, the central theming to that enhances the whole story is now kind of lacking.
Yeah, that's what Universal's motto used to be, right? Ride the movies.
Yeah.
That's now Disney's motto.
Yeah.
Ride the
Yeah.
movies. This isn't about experience something unique, something original, something out of the box. I mean, lately what Disney is opening just really isn't up to the Disney standards. Like, we can all agree, like, with this new lands that they're doing, Cars Land is amazing, but it also benefits from the fact that none of us ever really thought of ever visiting a Cars Land. No one watched that movie and said to themselves, you know what, I really want to eat dinner in Flo's VA Cafe or see the inside of Sarge's hut. There was just no expectation. But you open Galaxy's Edge and Pandora and Adventures Campus, and who didn't watch those films and imagine visiting those worlds? And it's not to say
Yeah.
that what they opened was terrible. Well, maybe Adventures Campus was terrible, but I mean, they all have something cool to see, but they don't exceed our expectations. They all offer something cool, but they never blow you away.
I'm talking about being blown away, and I'm thinking about, like, when was the last time I was really blown away in Florida? I really like the Avatar Pandora stuff, but I do think it's much better at night. We don't get to see it very often.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The time before that I felt blown away was New Fantasyland. Like, I thought it, like, you talk about the Beauty and the Beast areas,
Yeah.
and the Little Mermaid area, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and that whole area with Snow White's house. Like, those areas feel like you're in the movie. Rapunzel's Tower and that whole area
right.
of Fantasyland. Like, I remember bringing my little daughter to New Fantasyland, and she just felt like she was right in all of those princess movies that she loved so much. And I felt like it too. Like, it's so well done, New Fantasyland. And so I guess I would say, like, if I'm thinking about the Encanto stuff, if they can make it feel like you're stepping into that village in that part of Animal Kingdom, and then in addition to some attractions and having the casita and making it feel just like stepping into the movie, they also have some, like, South American wildlife in sort of like a jungle walk like they have the other ones, like in Asia and Africa. I think that would be a home run. I would be really excited about that.
Really? Okay.
I think they could have extended Encanto to the dinosaur ride instead of pulling in Indiana
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, although maybe they'll just, like, kind of cut that off. You know what I mean? Like, it is sort of over on its own side.
It is, yeah, yeah.
They are talking about it as one South American experience, though. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Again, you lose the concept of, again, Animal Kingdom is supposed to be a park about animals that exist, used to exist, and never really existed, but did in mythology or whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're just lost animals that don't exist. We really never got the mythological land of animals. The
Right.
closest we got is the Yeti that doesn't work. And now the animal literature, I mean, we're going to lose the entire insect kingdom with Tough to Be a Bug in place of, not that Zootopia isn't animals, but that's not really what they are. You know, it's like
Sure.
it's like calling the Muppets animals, you know?
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
they're
I hear
animals,
you.
but yeah.
They're animal
Yeah,
representation.
that's why I hope they put some of those those nature walks in.
Yes.
Like they do in Africa and Asia. I feel like that would really tie it in.
But Harry Potter lands in universe never disappointed. Not one of those two lands that I've been in have I ever walked in and said, this is good, but it's just missing something. Meanwhile, I walk into Toy Story Land and I'm like, how do you do a Toy Story Land without a fully realized Pizza Planet?
Yes,
everyone who saw Toy Story wanted to walk into Pizza Planet one time, and we still haven't gotten a real one. Yes. How do you do a Galaxy's Edge without a cantina, a creature cantina? How do you do that? Yeah. How do you do Pandora where you can't go see it at night when that's the best feature of it, like Rachel said before? How do you... It's not really well thought through. It's not that these things are terrible. I just want to reiterate that. It's just that just upon hearing it, my imagination goes wild, and now I feel like what they do is just underwhelming.
Yeah, and I think what would help that is some land expansion for sure. Because whenever I think of Encanto, like y'all was saying, I mean, I don't think of Animal Kingdom. I think Epcot just right there, like
Epcot, Magic Kingdom, perfect.
But you can't put it in there. They don't have enough area to do it. I get it, not enough real estate. But I think it would help to have that land expansion.
Oh, they could do it.
Well, I mean, they could do it, but you know what I mean? Like, you got to shift a few
Epcot's got
things
more
around.
than enough space. Magic Kingdom, yes, you might have to shift some things around, but they're already talking about open. If you saw and this is maybe a good point to get into what they've talked about doing. One of the concepts for Beyond Big Thunder Mountain showed Encanto right there. It was Encanto right across from Coco. And to me, I think that's perfect. Why not that? Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. I don't understand of anything. If you're going to do it in Animal Kingdom, why not Moana? Why not Moana? Moana visits the realm of monsters. There you go. Done.
Yeah. Mythical creatures.
It doesn't even have to be all about the realm of monsters. Just as long as she's there for a minute.
Yeah.
Animals. Done. Kakamora. Is that what the name is? Kakamora?
The
coconut dudes.
Yeah.
They might be animals. I don't know. They look like something.
Well, they're mythical creatures for sure.
They're mythical creatures.
But it would be immersive is the key. That's your thing.
You can't have... I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, we think they're going to be doing Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. We know they're going to be doing... Encanto can't go in both places.
Yeah, I mean, they can do what they want. I mean, right? Universal's like, hey, you want some Harry Potter here, you want some Harry Potter there, some pepper shots for you, there you go. I mean, who's to say? If it's that big and they believe in it, I guess they could.
Star Wars is in two different places, I guess, technically. Same park, but two different places.
So, I was going to say. But that was more of a process of, hey, we have this thing, we can use it like this, and now we own this thing, now we can really go crazy.
Yeah, which they still really haven't done yet.
Encanto, they've been owning it. I don't see how you open... I mean, come on. What do you want to see in Encanto? The freaking casita. That's it.
Yeah, the house.
Yeah. And even then, to me, the house is just something like, it's like a fun house. You walk through it, you experience the little things move, and I don't see the adventure in being in the house. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I think they could do it amazing.
You think so?
Well, with that technology with the seat, you saw that floor where the guy's just moving the seat with his head. That could totally be the house.
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah,
but like I said, it more resembles a fun house to me. I don't see the adventure in it. Like, I mean, if you watch Encanto, who's the villain? The grandma.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really a villain. Like, yeah, where's the adventure in that? It's more of an experience. Like, I think we talked about this before in one of the Universal episodes where we talked about Universal. They wanted to be visceral.
Right.
They were going right for your throat.
The very first one.
Right. They want adventure. And I think that's kind of what Disney's problem has been lately, is that there isn't a whole lot of adventure. Very rarely do we even see villains in movies anymore. I mean, it's kind of fluff.
Yeah.
Is that because creatives are not in charge of making decisions on these things?
Well, I think that they're getting away from classic storytelling. I think they're going into a different direction in the sense of, hey, nobody's really bad in this world.
Yeah.
Everyone's just, it's all shades of gray and everything, it's all good. And we're all looking for a kumbaya moment and everybody's just misunderstood. Maybe that's part of it. But again, I think you kind of want something that's going to grab you by the throat a little bit and be like, hey, wake up. Here's a bad guy. Here's a good guy. They're chasing you. It's on.
Do it. What you gonna do about it? Yeah.
So look, I mean, we're getting a little bit in the weeds here, but let's kind of get back to what we were talking about before. We've seen Beyond Big Thunder Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's Encanto. That is the Villain's Land, and that is
Villains.
Coco. Yeah.
And I'm with you. I don't know if they do Encanto in Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom.
Agreed.
I think it's going to be more Coco villains.
I hope it's more Coco, Encanto, Villains, and then over in Animal Kingdom they do Moana, but that would be what I would do. But fair enough. I mean, look, they show the area over there and they have enough space to do it. But
Moana's already built in Epcot.
yeah. So there's that. Then you have the Dinoland redo with we're losing the Boneyard. We're going to get a carousel of some sort instead.
Traditional carousel.
Not a fan.
I remember that.
Yeah, you don't want a
Universal's
piece of that.
building
What
a carousel.
Universal about
Yeah.
to do, you don't want a piece of that.
Not a fan of the overlay of Dinosaur with Indiana Jones. Again, I don't see how that sells a single ticket.
Yeah, it's gonna get played out. The next generation of kids, they're not identifying with Indiana Jones.
Not at
No
all. The
disrespect.
last two movies have bombed.
Exactly. They don't know nothing about
Yeah.
that.
I think it's Villains Land for me. It's
You
like
think
that's the
Villains
only.
Land?
I think that's going to be the big response.
Well, that's the last thing they haven't done that they should do.
And it's been rumored for a long, long time. I think that is something that should be explored. That should absolutely 100% be explored.
Yeah.
You know what I'm a little sad about though is I think about remember before we got the Star Wars Land announcements and before Avengers Campus, when people talked about the Star Wars lands are coming, I was so excited.
Everyone was.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I was so excited, and when you say a Villains Land is coming, I'm kind of okay, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I just can't conceptualize what they're going to do with it yet. And so it'll be cool because when you talk about Epic Universe and you say Super Mario, another Harry Potter space, I was sort of oh, all right. And then you start telling me what's coming and the ride after ride after ride, every land, I was we're getting another roller coaster. Are you kidding? Now I'm really excited. So maybe I just need more detail, but as of right now.
Maybe that'll be a future show one day as we each have to create our own Villains Land, because I'm with you. I've had a hard time conceptualizing Villains Land because villains have always been a part of all these attractions.
Right.
I don't know how you separate a villain from a hero. You can't have a bad guy unless you have a good guy. You can't have a protagonist without an antagonist. So,
True.
And just because they're a bad guy doesn't mean they're a bad guy.
Oh, a bad guy.
Wreck-It Ralph. They haven't done anything with that.
Oh,
Damn
that's a
straight.
great one.
Absolutely.
That was a really well done movie too that they've kind of just let sit there.
It's a great property.
Tons of property
really
they
is,
have.
yeah.
Tons.
All right, so do we want to get into what we would do then?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
All right, anybody got?
What would be what would coax us to have the same excitement?
I have a quick one. I think they could totally get this online by 2025. They could open it right around the same time as Epic Universe as sort of a competing bring your kids here. I think with the new partnership with Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour and Disney Plus, they should have a Taylor Swift concert experience in Hollywood Studios instead of the Beauty and the Beast show.
That would blow up.
Get rid of the Beauty and the Beast show and do a Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert experience, a shortened version, a half hour or something show. Open it same time, 2025. I think you pull a bunch of families that would have taken their kids just to Epic Universe. Now they're taking their family over to do the Taylor Swift Eras Tour for at least one day at Hollywood Studios.
What about doing a Taylor Swift overlay of the Rock and Roller Coaster while we're at it?
They're right next to each other. That would work.
It could be a temporary overlay. You don't have to keep it there permanently, but just to kind of couple up with your idea, I think
It's
that would be
the
a
same
really
story,
easy
yeah.
thing to do. Yeah,
You,
That'd
you
be
gotta
cool.
you're rushing to get to the Eras Tour concert.
That's right.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. You keep the ride the exact same. Just Taylor's in the pre-show and post-show.
And then Travis Kelce yells at you to keep going. I mean, that'd be awesome. Scare the hell out of you.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I think it's small enough that they could figure out a way to get it online super fast. Mm-hmm. You don't need a ton of infrastructure. It's not a big construction project. It's a theater show. And I think that it would be super popular and people would really want to do it.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's a really good idea.
That would require them to be timely in what their reaction to.
That's been
And it would also require them pay Taylor Swift a ton of money. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't even know if that would be feasible. That would be the big stumbling block is getting the licensing and getting her on board and stuff. But
It would be worth it.
Don't they have the rights to her concert on Disney Plus though?
They have the rights to show it on Disney Plus, but they wouldn't have the rights to play her music
In the park, right? But that's what I'm
in the
saying.
parks.
They may have been able to work that into that deal.
Right. I mean, yeah, or they could negotiate another deal with her.
Sure.
I mean, Disney has a ton of money, and I'm sure she's looking for the next way to continue to
Exist.
get this exposure. Yeah,
Yeah.
be in the consciousness of everybody. And her next album has got a ton of track names on it that have a lot of Disney coding. Like one of the track songs is called "But Daddy, I Love Him," and it's like from The Little Mermaid.
Right.
She has a
right.
track. She has a track called "Florida or Bust."
Ah,
So there's like a lot of Disney stuff in there.
a lot
So
of
She
those.
might be a Disney fan. I mean, sometimes that's kind of your dream is to be in a Disney park. Like,
I know.
there are actors I've heard of that couldn't wait to be immortalized in Disney in some kind of a way, shape, or form. I mean,
yeah, I can tell you in my household, my daughter is a huge Taylor Swift fan, and if they did a Taylor Swift Eras Tour experience, 100% we would be booking a trip.
Oh yeah.
My daughter would go nuts.
I'm with Rachel. I think this would be huge if they
I
would
agree.
go ahead and do that.
that'd
And
be
that
big.
would, yeah.
That has strong longevity to it.
I'll tell you what I would do right off the bat. Animal Kingdom. Why don't we just have a conversation about Animal Kingdom? Because I think we can all agree that Animal Kingdom is the park that is most in need of
Help.
some TLC.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw Indiana Jones. No offense to Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford, but screw it. I'm not putting him in place of Dinosaur. Dinosaur stays. It gets some TLC, but it's staying. The Boneyard is staying. That is a really cool play area. And it helps stop them from doing what I believe one of their biggest problems is, which is getting away from theming. Animal Kingdom should be a celebration of animals. Dinosaurs need to be there. So since we're going to carry on that mantra of celebrating animals that didn't exist, used to exist, never existed, by that standard, we're also not going to lose the entire insect kingdom. I'm keeping it tough to be a bug. I'm not replacing it with bunny rabbits and foxes and lambs and all that stuff. Again, I don't see how that sells a single ticket. Chester and Hester's Dinorama can go.
Yes.
I would not put Encanto in there. Like I said, I would put Moana in there, and I would put the Realm of Monsters in there in some kind of way, shape, or form. Pandora can stay because I know a lot of people like it, and obviously if we're going to go down this road, we're adding on. Hopefully this is going to make it a full day park, and now you can see it at night when it looks beautiful. Having said that, I want my land based on animals from folklore, fantasy, and mythology. I want my damn Beastly Kingdom.
That's it.
And I will have it in my
Someday.
someday. I will have it.
The Bigfoot experience.
The Bigfoot experience. That is exactly what I'm looking for, Kev. Obviously, I recognize that Disney can't do anything with an IP, and Beastly Kingdom probably is not going to be able to pass that test.
Right.
So the concept would have to be updated just a bit. I'd like for us to keep the Dragon Tower. I really would. But I totally understand that Universal is opening a whole land that has everything to do with dragons.
Yeah, they got that on lock.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit tougher to maneuver. However, Animal Kingdom does use a dragon in its logo, and in the park marquee, there's a dragon on the ticket booth. I'm going to redo Beastly Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Get rid of the Dragon's Tower, if that's what we have to do, because Disney's like, okay, we want to do it. I'd build the village of New Mushroomton.
The Village of what?
New Mushroomton.
New Mushroomton.
It's the Onward.
Onward.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like
would
that.
take Onward. I would put it into Beastly Kingdom.
With the restaurant, too?
Yes, the Manicor's Tavern would have to be there, and I would build it out. Now we're kind of dealing with an area where the citizens have embraced magic again, so it's a little less urban, a little bit more magical, and now you kind of have a blending of the two. You know, where you still have your mushroom houses and your Burgershire quick service restaurants and whatnot, but you'd have like kind of like a main street with all these shops that you can visit with all these clever little magical themes and twists to them. All around the town, you would see these restored ancient ruins, like the fountain that we saw in the movie, or there might be like an ancient tower or a stone bridge, statues, whatever, all celebrating the magical history of the town. And of course, you'd see the denizens of New Mushroomton. You'd see mermaids chilling out by the lake, unicorns digging through the trash, the talking trees and everything like that. I think that would be really cool. And you could do a couple different rides in there, but the one ride I'd really like to see us do, without getting into specifics, is that you board Guinevere, that The bus.
Oh, the bus.
The van. That's what I
It's
meant.
like the Mystery Machine.
Yeah. I'm thinking Ian tries out a new spell and he'll take us into the past so we can witness what New Mushroomton was like when magic ruled. And in true Disney fashion, the spell goes wrong and we end up being chased by a dragon through modern day New Mushroomton. And yeah, I think that would be a really cool new addition to Beastly Kingdom. But I also recognize that, okay, that's just the land of fantasy. You need a little something more. This is Beastly Kingdom. This isn't just one attraction. This is a whole land. I would put Gravity Falls in there just to take care of the folklore aspect of it. Because you need your Bigfoot. You need your Loch Ness Monster, just like you were saying before. So I got into this in a former episode of it, but I would put a Gravity Falls attraction in there. You can go find it in the archives, folks. I talked about a whole attraction based on Gravity Falls that I would put in there.
I think we did a whole show on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely have, like, kind of like what they do at Cars Land, where they have the backdrop of the Monument Valley.
Yeah.
I would have that UFO bridge, like you can see it right there, right behind Eli. I would have that right there.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it behind? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, you can.
I would absolutely have that as the backdrop of the Mystery Shack.
Yes, indeed.
Where you would go on an adventure with Grunkle Stan and Mabel and Dipper, and you would see the abominable Broman, the Manitors, and the Gobblewonk. I would even have you would set up the town to where you could have Greasy's Diner, and right there you would have a lake, and every once in a while the Gobblewonker would just pop out. That was their version of Loch Ness Monster for those who never watched the show. So that would be a really easy way to get creatures from folklore into there. And so what's left? Mythological creatures. That was going to be taken care of
Percy Jackson?
No.
No?
I
know. I was shocked that you didn't have that in there yet.
I'm saving Percy Jackson for the Magic Kingdom. I put Percy Jackson on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we're going to redo Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. I put Percy Jackson right there. Nope. What I'm going to use is Hercules.
Hercules.
I love Hercules.
And
Hercules is
so
good.
what Kevin said before, I'm going to use the ride system they use in China for Pirates of the Caribbean. You're going to go a river ride through the river Styx.
Nice.
And you're going to start off in the underworld. You're going to break off into Olympus, riding on Pegasus and everything. It would be really, really, really cool. And lastly, for Beastly Kingdom, again, this is all an upgrade to Beastly Kingdom. I know they had Mother Goose's Cottage there, which was kind of a gift shop is what we think it was meant to be. Again, since we're updating everything else and everything needs to be tied to IP, why not the Sanderson Sister Cottage?
Sanderson Sister Cottage.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, no, I was trying to, I can't picture the cottage. Oh, the cottage. Yeah,
the cottage.
Okay.
Their house.
Okay. The little house where the black cat is.
Exactly.
Right.
Use that as a gift shop with
like that
things
cat.
of the weird and everything like that all around there. I
dig
like
that.
that. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I would put Beastly Kingdom there. I would put Moana over there in the Dinoland area there. And then that opens up Pandora to be seen at night. I think that gives you a more complete park.
I dig that.
Yeah.
So that's what
I
I would
dig
do
that.
with Animal Kingdom.
Do you think Onward is a popular enough IP to, I guess in Gravity Falls too, do you think those are popular enough IPs for Disney to bring in the crowds?
I think that there's a difference to me between what you think popular IP would be and what would be a cool place to visit. Like,
Sure.
take The Haunted Mansion, which has never made a good movie.
Right.
Even the last one, which we thought was okay, it was passable, they've never had a good movie out of it. But it's a really interesting place to visit. I don't necessarily think that Onward was necessarily... But Onward had the unfortunate...
Bad time.
Well, it was released.
timing
released during
of
the lockdown.
being released during COVID, so it never really got its due. But in terms of cool places that I think that if you were a guest at a Disney theme park and you had a choice between, I'm trying to think of a equatable movie that's come out recently that Disney's done that's kind of been a moderate success.
I mean, there was that Elemental.
There you go, Elemental. Okay, so would you rather visit New Mushroomton or visit the Elemental town?
For sure, Onward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more unique, yeah.
Exactly. Would you rather an attraction based upon Wish or Onward?
Oh, Onward. Personally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say the thing for me that beats Onward would be Inside Out. I would love to do an attraction with Inside Out. But I don't think that fits in Animal Kingdom. That's not really relevant to what you're saying, but I'm just saying that
And
that's an IP that's more recent that I think would be more popular than Onward.
Sure, and I probably wouldn't have even picked Onward except for the fact that it's the Animal Kingdom. We're trying to stick to the theme of Animal Kingdom as opposed to trying to find something that we wish we could use in Animal Kingdom and force it to fit. So, yeah, there's that. I'm just saying Onward didn't get its due. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that it was a great movie. I just think it was a great concept.
It's a good world.
Yeah.
It's a really good world.
And there's a lot of great movies that make crappy rides, and there's a lot of crappy rides that make great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Galaxy's Edge is a crappy land. It's not completely crappy. I mean, you got a great attraction. There are things to enjoy in it, but it so falls short of our imagination.
Semi-crappy.
You need aliens. Like, what are you doing?
There you go.
How do you not have that was too much.
Everything that we were told that we were going to interact with aliens, there were going to be bounty hunters looking for us, everything that we were told was going to happen there that we got excited about never took place.
Right.
And they kind of did it half-assed. That's part of the problem with these fireworks shows. Every single fireworks show is the exact same. Listen to a collection of music that you've heard a gazillion times over. It's not original. It's safe. It's like we're going to take what you already like and repackage it and keep feeding it to you over and over and over and over again. It's never here's something that you didn't even know you wanted, and now you're going to like it. And that's what I think Disney's gotten away from. I would love to see them do something original. I really would, but I just don't see that in the cards.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. Wow. I mean, one of the things I was going to retheme the dinosaur ride system to would be the Secret of Sulphur Springs, because that has an element of time travel tied to it. So the premise, for those that haven't seen it, they go into this little back room and they emerge in like this little a water pipe thing that goes up in the ground, and they go back in time as they go through this water pipe thing. But I could think the same thing, since you got time travel with dinosaur, you could do the same thing, but you end up in like maybe 1971 Walt Disney World, you know? And so it's like there's a lot of old stuff, and you're like, oh wait, we're not in Animal Kingdom, where it's like you emerge and it's like you're in the middle of a swamp or something. It's like, okay, how do we get out of here? So that's where your adventure is okay, we got to get back to the park. You find Magic Kingdom. It's like, wait, this isn't the Magic Kingdom I know. Like, where's New Fantasyland? You know, where's Splash Mountain? Does not even exist. You know, that kind of stuff. And
it still doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the adventure, is getting back to the present. So I thought that would be a kind of a neat thing to tie in, like Secret of Sulphur Springs.
I haven't seen that one.
Time travel. Yeah, my kids really enjoyed it.
Does that have anything to do with animals, though?
No, it doesn't. But it's like if they're just going to go with land and stuff, I mean, it's like, okay, if they're not going to tie it into a theme, then like let's just do something cool that would be enticing.
Fair enough, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to hold them honest on this one. I don't want Animal Kingdom to lose its identity. I really don't, because it's such a beautiful park. It's their most well-done park ever, and it's in danger. It's like an endangered species.
Pretty much. You can have the little, what's that, deer symbol that they have when they're endangered species?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But I'm coming from like a technology innovation kind of standpoint.
Sure.
Because of Universal, when we've done those shows, they've done a lot of stuff that's like innovative ride systems. Mm-hmm. Like for Moana, you could totally use the Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean ride system and create something where they're maybe fighting like a lava monster or something, and they have that adventure, because you can twist and turn that boat however you want. And you could basically do anything. You could fight the Kakamora. You could go through like a storm. You could do anything with that boat system.
That sounds cool.
I love that boat system.
I would love it. But they haven't brought it here, and they haven't done anything with it. Mm-hmm. Take the Peter Pan hanging dark ride system kind of a thing. You could totally do something like that. Maybe not like a hanging coaster, but I mean, yeah, hanging coaster maybe in the 90s was really innovative, but man, advance it or something.
Yeah.
Universal still hasn't stuck a Kuka robotic arm on a hanging platform. For Star Wars, you could totally make like a Dueling Dragons kind of thing.
Oh, that would be
I had
cool.
this idea of like you have one set of trains which is like X-Wings and the other ones are like TIE fighters. And you're in a hanging Kuka robotic arm ride system. And at some point you meet and you just go at it. And it's just a dogfight. And so the robotic arms moving the cars everywhere. And it's just all kind of stuff.
It's like a laser tag. So
at the end of it, one of y'all blows up.
Yeah, one of you blows up. Yeah.
Body gets
it's just a big spinning red light, just like they do with Space Mountain.
That'd be cool. I do think Galaxy's Edge has a lot to offer. I think it's a really good start. I just think they could do so much more and go so much further.
Definitely.
And like that would be a thing for me. Like if they added another e-ticket to Galaxy's Edge and they added a bunch of actors who are going to get into costume makeup and look like aliens.
Yeah.
Or not, what do they call them? Like non-humanoid? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I'd be willing to go back for that. I know Josh.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I think they blew their load on the hotel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just didn't
Pan out.
Yeah, they didn't pan out because they didn't have anything left in the budget to spend.
Just a bar you could sit down in and just spend some time there and have like a window into space where you're seeing things
And not be rushed out.
and not be
Yeah.
rushed out. Exactly. Not have to pay $20 a drink while you're standing up. I mean, being able to sit down in comfort and just really enjoying the atmosphere. That's what this should be. It's just absorbing the atmosphere. That's what Epcot is that you go to World Showcase, you grab a drink and you stay there and you absorb the atmosphere.
Yeah, I think that's what Josh loved about the Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
You know, and they had that like high end, or it wasn't super high end, but the dining room there, they did like a really cool meal and they had performers and stuff. And like you could almost just do that. Like if you added that to the land.
Yeah.
What if you had like a Coruscant luxury dining experience?
I would have no problem with that whatsoever.
I'd be happy with your boy's diner that Obi-Wan goes in.
Yeah, you're talking about
Dexter's, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
You do need a more upscale restaurant, to Rachel's point. That was part of why I was confused with Space 220. Like, why y'all
Yeah.
letting this happen when this is exactly what we should be doing in Star
In
Wars?
Star Wars Land. Yeah, that would have been cool. Maybe
Yeah.
it's Star Wars themed.
So,
You were like going from Galaxy's Edge up into space.
right.
And
Yeah.
it's this restaurant that is like hovering above Galaxy's Edge. That would have been cool.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah, it's for one of the first things, I didn't really think of full themed lands, but I thought like just ride things is making like whatever they're doing with Marvel better.
Oh yeah.
And so one of the
Oh,
things I
man.
thought of, I don't know, maybe if it would work in Animal Kingdom, but Loki. They have the Alioth, that trans-temporal monster thing in the void.
Yes.
That they get transported to time-wise.
Okay.
Like I could totally see like dinosaur being themed to that, where it's like all of a sudden you get zapped into the void, and then now you're trying to escape the freaking Alioth monster, or whatever the hell it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's mythical. I don't know what kind of creature it is. But that'd be a fun adventure, I think. Simple. It could easily be really themed. A lot of wind, a lot of fans.
a lot of fans.
But I would think that you'd want to do Wakanda if you could do anything like Marvel related in Animal
my
Kingdom.
gosh.
Oh, well, yeah. I
Animal
mean, you could
Kingdom,
totally do
yeah.
Wakanda, and you could also get into this world because it is technically, time traveling.
yeah, Savage
yeah.
Land is perfect for that.
Oh, that'd be
Imagine
great.
it retheming Dinosaur to Wakanda and you seen the battle rhinos.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
actually.
like all the different creatures and whatnot that you could run across.
Because
while
the
you-
shell of the Jeep could be like a rhino, and you're just riding the rhino.
Sure.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, any more ideas for Animal Kingdom? Anybody got any other ideas for Animal Kingdom?
I had a weird one, but it was more because of the mythic part. Mm-hmm. If they're going to compete with Universal, especially with what they're doing now, it's like why not hit them where it hurts? Like go for the gamers, go for the video game fans, and there's a property that sticks out to me. It's called Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you ever.
Oh,
heard of it.
yeah. That's
Right.
big.
Heard of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's been around for a while. Well,
Big boy thing, yeah.
it's yeah, exactly right. A dragon is the cause of where all of these powers come from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you would have an area in that land that starts from that. It brings in a whole different source of people.
Sure.
Because that has longevity and sustainability
Anime
to
fans,
it.
all
Anime
kind of
fans,
stuff, yeah.
I
like,
can see that.
boom, bring that up in there. And I mean, I think you have stuff coming to life. Now, I didn't really think of what rides you could possibly do, but I think right off the bat, you definitely have something where people act like they're flying around the general area and just
Oh, you
doing
could
their
reuse
thing.
that hanging
Yeah.
Peter Pan ride system. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I would definitely go with that because that would add to the,
Yeah, you don't have to go into
mythological piece.
specifics at
Yeah.
all. No, I think that would be a really good addition. It would encompass animals. It would encompass a property that's kind of hot right now. So I think that checks both boxes that I think you need.
Yeah. No, the other thing with Animal Kingdom that I would thought to do is if you're going to just move away from the mythical creatures thing, how about giving me creatures that are in the air or in the land and maybe underground or underwater?
We used to have
Kind of
ones
thing.
that was in the air. They got rid of them too.
They did, yeah.
did
So
do
I
that.
think you own that, because there's creatures all over the place. You know,
Yeah.
every aspect of the atmosphere, so to speak. Part of that, in my idea, is like just move Living Seas over to Animal Kingdom, and then you got it covered. But that's not going to happen.
No.
But still, I mean, you could address like there's creatures underground, there's creatures in the water, there's creatures in the air, there's creatures on the land, which you already have at Kilimanjaro Safaris. So I mean, just own that aspect of it instead of trying to do what you're originally going to do, because you're not going to do it.
I would agree with you on that aspect of things. Is that that you don't get a whole lot of creatures that are under the water in Animal Kingdom, and that should totally suffice because they're doing it, as you put it, in the Living Seas, and to me, the Living
Not
Seas,
even well. Yeah.
yeah,
Not even well.
kind of toothless at this point. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem if they wanted to redo the Living Seas completely at this point.
Yeah.
All right, any more for Animal Kingdom? Should we move on?
We can move on. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Magic Kingdom. I said what I would do. I'd put Percy Jackson on Tom Sawyer Island for sure. I'd go forward with the Beyond Big Thunder Mountain concept. I would put Encanto there as opposed to Animal Kingdom. As for the Villains Land, I'm cool with it, but I kind of think that I would put Villains Land more in Hollywood Studios. Because, I mean, Hollywood Studios, think about movies. There's heroes, there's villains. Villain Land seems more appropriate for Hollywood Studios. I might do like a recreation of Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas back there.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and do a Nightmare Before Christmas ride. Since we're never going to get Nightmare Before Christmas overlaid to Haunted Mansion, might as well do a Nightmare Before Christmas ride and have some character interactions back over there. And that would be a really good tie-in also for Not So Scary.
Yeah, and it's still from what I could tell, a very popular property.
Yes, it is.
I mean, from you look at the Comic Cons and even my kids, they love that property.
Anybody else? Magic?
Yeah.
I would do a
I just
Villains
think
Land. Oh, go ahead.
villains.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with you. Villains.
Villains?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Villains. Yeah, I mean, if we needed to, I'd put them Beyond Big Thunder just by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, this is like you have the whole fantasy areas built into Magic Kingdom, but maybe you slip through a crack somewhere, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, where am I?
Yeah.
This is a little different. This is not the Magic Kingdom I know.
Oh, it would
and all of a sudden,
totally-
a whole completely different area.
Yeah, it would totally work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I think it would totally cool. Like, I mean, even if they expanded onto Tom Sawyer's Island, you could use those caves as like Hades' lair or something. You go visit Hades and stuff, and he's down there.
Yeah.
You see the blue flames and all kind of stuff.
I have something that just came to me. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, because I'm kind of with you. I would just do villains, like really maximize the villains thing.
Sure.
What if they rethemed Big Thunder Mountain to Dr. Facilier, and then that was your transition into Villains World?
Tiana's right next to Facilier.
So like you're taking, you got Bayou Adventure,
I like
but
that.
then there's like a Dr. Facilier kind of ride that transitions you from the Bayou Adventure to the Villains area, but you have to lose Big Thunder Mountain. Like you get to keep the track, but they retheme the whole thing.
I almost
To-
like that.
So
because
it's not a mountain anymore?
Nope, not a mountain anymore. You lose it.
Okay.
It's going to be like Villains theme, Dr. Facilier. It's part of the story of falling into Villains Land.
I like the thought of Tiana warning you to not take the ride before you get to that ride. Since it's
I
gonna
like
be
Facilier.
that.
Like, all right, Tiana's gonna get it right. I'm taking this one. over.
Yeah.
And so then you can have like projection mapping them fighting each other.
Or that I was magic, right? Now
Yeah.
it's evil voodoo magic that's transporting you as well.
I'm trying to think here.
Kale gumbo.
Sorry, Tony Baxter. I'm taking this right over.
I mean, that makes sense. I think as far as having like the transitional theme to it, I can.
So when Maria Laveau end up in the Haunted Mansion, maybe
Ooh.
that'd be some scary. Well, maybe give her own ride. It'd be some scary ass.
Oh, dude.
Ooh-wee.
I don't know, man.
Rachel, do you know Maria Laveau? I'm sorry, I just kind of brought
I
up.
don't.
She's a local voodoo.
She
I
died
don't
a
know
long
whether
time
it's a
ago.
master. Yeah, I
but-
don't know if she's a master, but she's like, yeah, that's like a huge name as far
She's
as
a voodoo
lore.
queen of New Orleans.
Maria Laveau.
They ended up having to stop people from visiting her grave because they were getting too many visitors, I believe.
Ooh-wee.
Because like everyone would leave like something on her grave because she was a voodoo queen.
But they still, so she
Oh,
still
okay.
hangs around.
I'd have to, her ghost is. I mean, New Orleans is supposed to be a really haunted city anyway, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But-
would explain why our streets are so terrible.
I don't know. I still think I want to see Big Thunder Mountain stay, but then again, the better version of Big Thunder Mountain is in Disneyland. Ugh.
But
It's
innovation
tough.
is
Yeah,
what
that's
we're
true.
talking about, right? So
Yeah,
I
it
can
is.
see having to.
Well, I
let
mean,
go
they did
of
that Splash Mountain. I mean,
But you're gonna have a Villains Land. Can't Dr. Facilier have a ride in there?
Because if you don't do the Coco thing, even with the Coco thing, I don't really understand how Big Thunder Mountain makes any sense there anymore. But I guess with Coco, there's some kind of Southwestern tie-in, whatever. But I would just rather they scrap it altogether. I mean, not the track, keep the ride, but completely retheme it to really transition you into Villains Land, and then just go all in on villains.
is there a mountain villain?
Bald Mountain. You could do like the
Oh, yeah,
Night
the
on
big-
Bald Mountain.
The big creature. What's the creature that's on the?
Oh, Belrog. Wait, no, not Belrog.
No, it's,
oh goodness.
No, I'm talking about the big winged monster.
Yeah, Chernabog.
Chernabog.
Oh, Chernabog. Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
just
you
make
could
it
do that.
like the beginning of Villains Land. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll just go all in on villains. Just the way that Universal's going all in on their stuff. There's no like
monsters.
Yeah.
sidestepping. There's no half. It's like we're gonna fully immerse you in this world. We're not gonna try to half step and hedge our bets.
And I like the idea of there being something unique to see in Disneyland, something unique to see in Disney World. I don't like the idea of anything I want to see in Disneyland, I can see in Disney World. Anything I want to see in Disney World, I can see in Disneyland. I like the idea that
Sure.
we have Dinosaur, they have Indiana Jones.
We got to keep Tower of Terror. They can keep Big Thunder.
There you go.
We had the better one anyway.
I would just wonder if there was a Villains Land. Like, would they allow for all IPs for villains to be open, or would they just keep it strictly?
I think it would probably end up being their animated stuff.
Yeah.
Only. But
Because
I
come
agree.
on, you get like a good Darth Vader in there. You get a Sabretooth. You get, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know what would be cool if the entrance to Villains Land was the bridge from Sleepy Hollow?
Oh, yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be really cool.
And then when you leave out of it, the Headless Horseman is following you out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
No,
but-
no, no.
Well, you
All
can do
right.
it for the parade. I'd want an Yzma Kronk coaster.
Oh, wow. Yzma, she's an underrated
She is.
villain. She really is.
But I could totally see that coaster because,
Yeah.
like, you go to some point instead of like a traditional lift hill, it's like you pull the lever and all of a sudden it just drops you, kind of like Hagrid's, and you shoot off. I think that'd be perfect.
Anything on Epcot?
God,
No.
Epcot needs help.
I feel like it does, but they just did it, so
Yeah.
they're not going to do anything else. I think like it's a ship that's sailed. We're going to have to wait another 5 to 10 years.
I mean, if we talking like in the world where anything would be possible, if
Blue
they
Sky,
listen-
yeah.
I would stick with the video game theme. There was a what was it called?
Tekken?
No. Although that is an awesome game. Kingdom Hearts. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that's a book series, too.
Yeah, that was the Disney, right? There was Disney characters
Yeah.
with Final Fantasy characters, which again
Yes.
is another
Yeah.
property
Oh, that's
been around
huge.
for a while.
Final Fantasy is still popular.
Right, you put that in Japan, right? You get all of that stuff going in there. You show like your established characters, and they dress however they would be, maybe in this armor or something like that. Have a merchandise area where people could, I don't know, put in the costume because they can't come into Disney with the costume. So that's bad, right? Buy the costume there, boom, more money.
More money.
Yeah, I mean they were supposed to do that play pavilion, so
Yes.
they could
Yeah.
open the play pavilion to be video game stuff, and they had talked about Wreck-It Ralph being a part of that, and that sort of video game,
Yeah.
and so I could totally see them doing like a video game area in that old Wonders of Life pavilion, but what they were supposed to open as the play pavilion.
Yeah, get you a breather, right? If you're a parent and you're trying to get drinks, figure out where to go next, but your kid's like, Mom, Dad, what about? You're like, hey, go to the arcade, boy. Go, here's 75 cents now.
I was
Go
just about
on.
to say, yeah, you just have an old school arcade like in, we got Flynn's Arcade and you got the arcade in Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, Flynn's
So
Arcade. That'd
there
be a
you
good
go. Right, you got
Yeah.
all Disney property, boom, in there.
And it hits on nostalgia because I remember arcades. I used to hang
Sure.
out there a lot.
Yeah.
My kids love arcades.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because, we take our kid to the Social Hub, which has arcade games, and they have bowling, and they have laser tag and axe throwing. Now you have to be 18 to do the axe throwing.
It's like Splitsville, but with more stuff.
There you go.
Sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids, all they want to do, go play the video games.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a concept that will never run dry, and which again is so scary as to why we don't have a working Pizza Planet in Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to belabor that point. Here's what I would do at Epcot. I would build out the UK to include 17 Cherry Tree Lane, complete
yeah,
with a
you
ride
mentioned
to
it,
a
yeah.
Mary Poppins attraction, and then I would take one of the empty pads next to it, and I would open up a new country. You know what it would be?
Brazil.
No. Greece, I would like to do Greece, but since I'm doing Hercules, because I thought Hercules in the Animal Kingdom would be cool, because you could do
Oh,
like
you can have your Greek food there.
you can have a Greek food there,
Okay,
because
okay.
you could have like a Phil's Grill.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Love it.
China.
Phil's Grill.
Phil's Grill.
Phil's Grill.
Yeah, it could be like the
Come get a
memorabilia
yield.
of everybody that he's trained on the walls. Like, this is when Achilles, and this is when I trained Hercules, and this is when I trained, and so he could show all his memorabilia on the wall. But
We don't
then you
have
could-
meat. We have lamb.
Then you could have like a 5-star upscale dining restaurant called Acropolis.
Olympus.
Oh, yeah.
Or Olympus, that'd be a good one as well.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not going to do Greece, but that would be the one I would most like to do because
Okay.
I think, because I'm already allocating that to the animal kingdom.
Oh, yeah, that was good. So there's another country you do.
Another country I would do.
Let's see what country. Oh, the Philippines. Thank you, Danny. The Philippines. I appreciate that.
Philippines.
I would love that.
All for you.
God, all my people.
All for
It'd be
you.
so
All your
awesome.
peoples.
Yeah,
No,
Philippines would be
Not
great.
your peoples.
Oh,
No, I didn't even think about you or your
Philippines?
people.
Okay.
Not of
sorry.
your peoples. Oh, man.
Guam. Oh, wait, that's a territory.
Guam.
Never mind. Guam's that's a territory.
What if I give y'all a hint?
No, India.
No, not India.
Oh, okay.
India was a good one, though. I was thinking about India, but I'll give y'all a hint.
Zimbabwe.
No.
Russia.
You don't want a hint.
I'm still hooked on Guam.
This can go on forever. I want a hint.
I'm waiting for Kevin to get to Lithuania. No, what I would the country I'm thinking of, it's not too far away from England.
Ireland?
Getting closer, warmer.
Scotland.
I would do Scotland. Why?
Loch Ness Monster.
Well, that's one property you could pull for, but and I would be 100% on board with that.
Sherlock Holmes.
No, you can do that in England. That's not. No,
Yeah.
there's another one.
Not Merida?
Merida. Okay,
Oh,
then
yeah,
you
Merida.
Merida.
Yeah,
You could do something with
Merida.
Brave over there.
I got the area right with it.
Right, and it proximity wise, it fits.
Yeah, they're actually
And
Scottish.
Scotland
as opposed
is
to Isle of Burke.
just beautiful. That's one country I really kind of want to visit before
It's
I
pretty,
die.
yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah. So
You have to attach it right next to the UK.
Yeah, I would love to see a Scotland pavilion.
Yeah, that would make sense.
They just fully blow out the UK pavilion. Man.
Yes,
They have
that's-
Scotland, have Ireland.
Right now, UK, like, they put the Ireland booth for food and wine in there, and they kind of have a Scotland sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like even though those aren't all the same country, they just kind of like do them all in that pavilion.
I'd like to see him build it out a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
think
a
it'd
totally different experience when you go into Scotland versus like the rest of England and Wales.
Yeah, of
You
course.
can even do Wales. I mean, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
I already told you guys my Taylor Swift idea for Hollywood Studios, which I like, but I have one more idea for Hollywood Studios,
Yeah?
other than we've talked about Galaxy's Edge too. But
Okay.
I think they should take the Disney Junior area and do something really cool with Bluey.
You know, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know what I heard? I heard this past weekend from somebody with 3 young kids. He talked about that in Australia, they were really upset with Peppa Pig.
In Australia?
Oh.
They were really upset with Peppa Pig because Peppa Pig
It's
apparently
like a British thing.
Yeah, well, not just that it was a British thing, because they made Daddy Pig look like a complete doofus.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the reason that they came up with Bluey.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
interesting.
I can see that.
I mean, yeah.
I've never seen Bluey, so I have no idea if this is true or not. But apparently, the Bluey is the Australian response to Peppa Pig.
That's
definitely,
awesome.
definitely
I mean, I
more
hope
relatable
that's
for
true.
sure. I
like
can tell you that. I like the Bluey Dad.
Yeah, apparently Bluey is over huge. I've never seen Bluey. I'm going to have to make it a point because this is like the 4th or 5th person I've talked to. It's like, you got to see Bluey. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Or you can like leave some of that Disney Junior stuff, but like who goes to the Star Wars launch bay anymore?
No
like
one.
get rid of Star Wars launch bay
Sure.
and put in like a Bluey land.
Blueyverse. Yeah.
Blueyverse.
Yeah, a little Blueyverse.
That would be great for the kids. Absolutely.
That thing has staying power too. That's not going away.
No,
And
that's
even
not.
if they stop making new episodes, those things are going to be like people are going to watch them for a really long time.
Well, I think, have we covered every park now?
I think we have, except for the water parks. But I mean, you can't really do much
they're
with that.
perfect. They're perfect.
Yeah.
I do really like the water parks. I do.
I wish just one thing. I know it can't happen because Marvel and Disney World
Sure.
can't do the thing. But if they could just get rid of that rule, I would love to see an X-Men Danger Room being like built in there.
X-Men Danger Room?
Yeah, like some sort of like a holographic kind of
Yes.
screen.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah. X-Men Danger Room was like, it was basically their
A
training.
holodeck?
Yeah.
Yes. their
Basically,
holodeck
If you're a Star
training
Trek
room.
fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. That
Yes.
makes sense.
I was watching X-Men 97. I love
I
it.
need to start watching that. Yeah. Yeah.
Put that on tap for Avengers Campus because that would be better than anything that they put
That's
over
why I was
there.
saying that when you were talking earlier about how like they promised a Avenger campus, it was like, hey, I went to the campus was closed. Like, please, can I have a school that's always open? And of course, Professor
you think
Xavier's
they could-
school for mutants is
I
always
love
open.
X-Men.
Do you think they
Yeah.
could do an entire Marvel park?
Ooh, yes. 100%.
I mean, they totally could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never would leave.
That may be something that definitely
Have
competes with
they-
Epic Universe for me.
have they proven
sure.
that they have the know-how to do it? No.
No.
Well, yeah. So there's our thoughts on Disney from a Disney fan. Our reactions to the Universal Epic Universe stuff. We definitely want to hear what you guys think about all of this. What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? Are they a threat? Maybe you think they're not a threat, and we'd love to hear that reasoning as well. Get in touch with us. Share your opinions. They're always welcome on the show. We're going to tell you how to share those opinions in just a little bit. Y'all, we hope you enjoyed that discussion about Disney and Universal and the response and all that. Look, if you want to learn more about us, go to magicourway.com. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions on anything we've talked about or any new ideas that we haven't introduced, we'd love to hear them. Shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or send us a text message at 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. That is 1-815-
Mo Weekend
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics. Eli, what you got, sir?
Yes, sir. When you got there on the internet, you can always visit ivorycomics.com. You can see the work that I have there, such as Project Geisha, Savages, and Molly Be Damned. All work is 48 pages, fully colored. The only ad for them is for this podcast. So please show the support, love right there. Also on the site, you can get interviews and blog posts, and of course, a link to the Magic Our Way podcast, so you never miss a beat. You never miss an episode. You never miss what Universal's doing versus what Disney's doing and how to get there and how to do it. So as usual, please support ivorycomics.com. On social media, Facebook.com, you can find me right there. You like Ivory. As long as real person, it's lovely to meet you. If you're a bot, I do not need to greet you. These guys know. Bot tried to get me the other day. I tell you what, it was like double bot week.
You texted us, yeah.
I showed you. People think, oh, that's funny, man. You got a good stick. No, that's real.
Bot's after you.
That bot was offering you a job, though.
But that's how it started. You know what's funny? I had that happen again the same week with another one. A bot offered me some job and would have paid $70,000 working remotely, all this awesome stuff. You know what happened? While we were trying to go through the little interview on Teams and stuff, because I ain't gonna lie, I was enticed. I ain't gonna lie. Then it was like, what's your bank information? Like, damn, you almost got me. You almost got me. I lied to him. I said, Bank of America, and none of your business. There you go.
Bank
Not
of the world.
all bots are the same, Eli.
Look,
You're
I can't tell right
stereotyping.
now. When they after you, man, they after you. I might have to work through that in bot therapy. But right now, I'm just telling you, bot don't need to meet you. That's all I'm saying.
Bots' lives matter.
All right. Well, we're going to have to work through that. Maybe I just...
Especially if they're sent to you.
I might have to go to church with Daddy and just seek forgiveness for bots. But right now, that bot tried to take me out, bro. I'm serious. That was happening. Also on Facebook, you could go and visit the Project Geisha fan page. So facebook.com/Project Geisha. Also on Instagram, right there, posting up hearts and likes and sharing stories and hearing about your glory at EIV504. And of course, on X, I can be found at Hancock10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, then you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation to Universal or Disney or anywhere, you could do it through Rachel. Rachel, tell them how to do this.
Yes, I would be honored to help your family or travel group book a vacation to wherever you'd like to go. Disney World is booking all the way into 2025 already. And Disney Cruise Line is just now releasing their summer 2025 cruises. Disneyland, you can book all the way through 2024. And Royal Caribbean, you can book even into 2026 for some sailings and trips. Yeah. So if you want to plan ahead, I can help you do that. Or if you want a last minute vacation, I'm really good at those too. And it costs nothing, no extra money to book with me. And just a little bit of the cost of your vacation comes back and supports this fan community. And so we really appreciate you. You can reach out to me at Rachel, RACHEL, at magicourway.com. You can also find me by phone or text message at 978-432-WISH, the word wish. And just let me know that you're a listener, and I'll make sure that your trip comes to support this podcast. The other easy way to get in touch with me is through social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube at R Family Magic, the letter R, and then the words Family Magic all together. And yeah, I would love to help your group book a trip. And it's so appreciated because it does help support this podcast.
Yes. Can I ask Rachel a question real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Rachel, I'm curious. So, do you see a lack of bookings towards Universal this year as people are waiting for 2025?
I do. Yeah, my Universal numbers are down a little bit from last year. That can be. I'm a pretty small sample size though, so I don't know if what's happening with me is indicative of everybody else. But yeah, I have seen a little bit less. But I think it will increase a lot when I think Universe opens.
100%. I was just kind of curious if people were kind of getting in their last minute Disney joys right now before they all start booking Universal.
Waiting.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I have actually for this upcoming school vacation, I have just as many people going to Universal as I do people going to Disney World.
Okay.
So that one was pretty even. February, the last school vacation we had, it was only Disney or cruises. I had no Universal folks.
Oh, wow.
So that one was a little off, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, if you want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/magicourway. There you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support this show. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. And the easiest way to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and a review in Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. And we want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaharini, my name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
And you are. Bye!